Hey there guys, it's Metro, and we are back finally with Shadowlands news. It was expected, and I think even a little late, but we're finally here, and it's Monday, and they're looking like more is coming soon. So let's talk about this. We're going to make some videos on this documenting everything that is said about Shadowlands for the next few months. So it begins today, alright? Shadowlands developer update. This is the first Shadowlands news since BlizzCon. So I'm going to read every single word of this, give my opinion on it, and talk about what the future holds, okay? It's been 5 months since we first revealed our World of Warcraft Shadowlands expansion at BlizzCon 2019. The whole team has been hard at work transforming the vision we laid out last November into a reality, and we can't wait to share our progress with all of you. Later this week, we will send out our first round of invitations to a closed alpha test for Shadowlands. So alpha starting this week. Now, first round of invitations, closed alpha test later this week. Couple operative things here. Later this week. For me, what does that mean? I think Thursday. Thursday always seems like the day, but that might be just my self-hating of my own life because I'm always at work on Thursday. Every freaking Q&A and big announcement is always Thursday. I always come home and miss it all, and I feel like that might happen again. But yeah, Friday might also make sense. I feel like a lot of these things happen late in the day Thursday and then Friday, so there's some chances that things can go, without problem over the weekend, but we'll see. Anyway, the first batch of invitations will mainly go out to longtime WoW players with active accounts in good standing. Is that he's talking to me? Are you talking to me? Anyway, as well as Blizzard friends and family, along with a limited number of content creators and journalists. While I'm not a journalist, I am a friend of Blizzard. No, I'm not, obviously. But yeah, I mean, longtime WoW players with active accounts in good standing. So that's certainly me, right? I don't know exactly when I made my account, but I got the game the day it came out. I don't think I actually installed it the day it came out, but a couple, at least maybe a week at max into the game's history. And I certainly am in good standing. The only time I've ever taken a break was for 2 months in probably 2008. And that's the only reason I didn't get that statue, is because I did take I think it was 2 or 3 months off. Basically the summer of 2008, because I couldn't make raids anymore because of the job I was working at, and I just didn't even want to play WoW. I didn't want to log on and feel tempted to play WoW outside of raids because I felt like I was going to quit the job, honestly, over it. So I just canceled the account. Unfortunate for me, but other than that, so usually when I get in alpha, so does another friend of mine who has played intermittently over the last year, but yeah, I'm sure we'll see him again. But yeah, every single alpha, as far back as MOP, we always get in on the exact same day. Literally, he gets in and he whispers me, "Hey, did you get in?" I got in too. It happened every single one so far, including Classic. So this initial wave represents, so we must have made the accounts very similarly, I guess, right? Anyway, this initial wave represents only a small fraction of the pool of testers that will ultimately gain access to the testing in the coming months. If you're interested in helping make Shadowlands better, sign up using the beta opt-in link on the Shadowlands homepage. Later on, as we engage and focus PvP and raid testing, we'll also do some targeted invite waves that prioritize players with extensive experience or expertise in those parts of the game. So in the past, in the MOP, from MOP to WoD, we had killed Heroic Garrosh, which was the highest. Before Mythic was a thing, Heroic Garrosh was the hardest boss in the game, right? We had killed that. Every single person in our guild got in. Everybody who's gotten the kill was in. So I don't know if they still do stuff like this, but if you've killed Mythic N'Zoth, you probably just automatically get in at some point. Not soon, but when they start doing raid testing, they seem to just auto-invite everybody who has a Mythic, full clear. So that might be some people too. Anyway, when the alpha servers go live, we will have the full level up experience in the Zone of Bastion available, along with its accompanying dungeon, the Necrotic Wake. Testers who are interested in checking out our revamped new player experience. Okay, so before we keep going, the full level up experience in the Zone of Bastion available. So that's a confusing question or confusing statement to make. I don't know what that means. Does that mean you can go 50 to 60 in only Bastion? I don't know how that works. Is there only enough experience? Can we keep grinding? In the alpha of BFA, they made it so you literally could only get 1 level. Then next week it was 2 levels, and the final next week it was 3. The blah 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 kept going up and up and up, and it was just getting boring. I just couldn't be asked leveling for 1 level. So I hope that means it's just not going to work that way. You know what I mean? I don't know. We'll see. I don't know what they mean by that, but yeah, if I could actually have fun leveling a character and not just do 2 hours worth of quests and then have nothing else to do, That's the thing that sucks about the alpha. As exciting as this is, it's more exciting because of what comes in 2 or 3 months from now, not 2 or 3 days from now. 2 or 3 days from now, it'd be exciting to be in the beta, especially, or alpha, whatever, especially if I can get in first wave. It'll be good for the channel, obviously. But frankly, I don't really know what I'm going to do on there. So we'll see. But my main thing I'll do on there is level with the new no UI concept, which we'll be talking about more. Anyway, testers who are interested in checking out our revamped new player experience can play through the Alliance version of the new zone and tutorials. We'll definitely do that. Again, with the no UI thing. We'll aim to roll out new content on a regular basis throughout the test cycle. Later in April, we hope to offer the zone of Revendreth, as well as a look at Torghast, Tower of the Damned, our endless dungeon experience. So that's pretty early. Certainly better than we got some of the other things. Like, if you remember Warfronts and Islands, which were supposed to be like the key feature, they were not until like 3 or so months in, and that was unfortunate. And they really, well, although they did come earlier maybe, but they weren't fully fleshed out until much later. So not a great, hopefully it goes better than BFA, obviously. We will continue to unlock content such as zones, dungeons, and endgame questlines when they're ready for feedback, using template characters as needed to focus testing and feedback on specific parts of the game. Once everything has been released into the test environment, we'll officially move into a beta phase, wiping all characters and kicking off a larger round of invites for an end-to-end test of the entire Shadowlands experience. This is absolutely spectacular. I love the concept of this. Once everything has been released into the test environment. I mean, those are very specific words, right? Does that mean that we're literally going to have hopefully everything? I don't know. What does that actually mean? That's very interesting. Let me know what you guys think about that. Maybe they say this all the time, but that seems to be different than how they handled beta in the past, if you ask me. Anyway, while content will be rolled out methodically over the course of the alpha, many of our underlying system changes will be apparent from the moment players first log in later this week, and there will be hints of others that are still in progress. A few examples. Now this is where things get interesting. Players of all 12 classes will immediately see changes in their spellbooks, talents, and in some cases, even their resources. I don't know what the hell that means. We'll have a separate blog coming out in the coming days discussing how we applied the class design philosophies we laid out in BlizzCon 2019 and give key examples of the sorts of changes to expect for each class in their specialization. Unlike the last couple of expansion alphas, where the conversation with the community often began with us saying, "Let us know which spells you missed the most," this time around we're eager to hear whether we've gone too far with them pruning. Now, why the fuck would you say those words out loud? That is like, why is that in this article? Who? Are you kidding me, man? Like, you know there's going to be people who complain about this, right? People do not want more complexity to the classes. So there's definitely going to be people who complain about it. Maybe a bunch of folks already really hated Eyes of the Beast all along. Who knows? Like, I don't know why you would say that out loud, but I guess you have to. It's just like, there's going to be people who are just like, this was stupid. You never should have added all these spells back. And then next expansion, they're going to remove them all again. This is WoW, right? But anyway, this is probably the most exciting thing in the alpha of, if you watched, we're actually looking at this on stream, I think on Saturday or maybe Friday. On stream, I looked at my old alpha of BFA videos. The first day I was in, we logged on and Blood DK had no changes. It was the exact same as it was with Legion. The only change was we didn't have an artifact. And really, that didn't really change. But there was a lot of talents and spells that did end up changing, and they didn't happen until much later in the preview, the test. You know what I mean? So this is really good to hear this, that they are going to do this, these big class changes immediately, because this is one of the biggest things to cover in an alpha. If I can make videos on every single spec and class, especially tanks, make videos on all 6 tanks, it's not a bad idea at all. And then we keep up with it as we go. That's what we did in the BFA alpha. We did basically we covered all 6 tanks heavily. We leveled one of each tank. We did a lot of dungeons on each of them, and anytime there would be new class changes, we'd be like, oh look, okay, monk tank, they got some changes here, they suck, I hate them, blah blah blah, and then we keep going. Anyway, they keep going here. We have been making improvements to our, this is huge, I don't know what the hell this is, but this is huge. We've been making improvements to our quest interface with an eye towards better distinguishing major quests that are related or required to advance the narrative from optional side quests that tell more localized stories. Our work in progress 3D indicator of tracked quest objective locations will be available to use, which aims to reduce the need to bring up the map when navigating the world and help more clearly identify when an objective is above or below you. What the hell does that mean? That is insane. We'll find out in the days to come, and I'm sure it's going to be a very interesting process. I don't know what it means, but I'm interested to see how it works. I just hope it doesn't trivialize the concept that I've been doing with the no UI thing, because one of the biggest things about that is hiding the automatic quest tracking, and I feel like that is literally like the main feature of this no UI thing. So we'll probably have to worry about that. But anyway, we're also rolling out a system that allows players to set a personal waypoint on the map, as well as share that pin in chat channels, so that you should no longer need an add-on to convey exactly where Rustfeather just spawned. Now that is also, I mean, that's bigger than whatever the other thing is. I don't know what the first thing is, but that's huge, because now, assumingly, this might actually mean that you no longer need, you no longer need an add-on to convey exactly where Rustfeather just spawned. So that means no more coordinates. Finally, it's crazy to think that this game is going to be 16 years old soon, and there's still, like, you have to download an add-on for coordinates just to be able to tell where things are on the map. So that's very interesting. Anyway, also of note are some changes to PvP currencies. Notably, Conquest is once again a spendable currency earned through Shadowlands rated PvP. Players will be able to use Conquest points to purchase specific items of their choice from a vendor in the capital city of Oribos in an easy-to-find location, naturally. Oh, that's funny. Anyway, that was a joke that they made that people couldn't find the vendors. That's one of the reasons they got rid of vendors in general. It was because one of the most common complaints that they heard was that people couldn't find the vendors. And the reply was like, who the fuck cares about those people? Like, if they cannot find the vendors, then they cannot do PvP seriously, right? Like, that's the dumbest thing. Anyway, Conquest can also be used to upgrade that gear further, similar to how Benthic gear worked with Mana Pearls and Rise of Ashara. We'll have lots more information to share on the details of the system, as well as our broader endgame itemization plans as the alpha rolls on and we reach max level content. Crazy. So Conquest and PvP in general, big changes. They're finally adding what everybody wanted, vendors back. I don't know why they wanted them, but I don't know PvP, so whatever. That's good. All right, so we got a little bit more. As our community and fan sites dig into the game files that are packed with the client in the coming days, you'll also doubtless find bits and pieces of data relating to endgame systems like soulbinds, covenant sanctums, and crafted legendary items. Much of those features remain a work in progress, and especially in an alpha setting, the game's data contains numerous experiments and discarded ideas. So please take what you might find via data mining with a grain of salt. We remain guided by the core philosophies that we articulated at BlizzCon: player agency and empowering choices. We can't wait to share details of these systems with you as soon as we are able. One of our main lessons learned from past expansions is the vital importance of carving out a large window in our alpha and beta for feedback and iteration on these endgame systems. So one of the main lessons learned from past expansions is the vital importance of carving out a large window in our alpha and beta for feedback and iteration on these endgame systems. I don't know what to take from that, but that is a very good thing to say. Even if it means nothing, it's a very good thing to say, because obviously BFA, every single, from the alpha all the way to the PTRs, all the way through Shadowlands, like, you know, coming out, every single time they tested things, it was a mess. Absolutely, it never worked. Tons of bugs. Every single patch launch with major bugs. They fixed them, many of them. Ironically, one of the biggest ones they never got to fix is Mana Pearls. In case you guys aren't aware, the Benthic gear was not supposed to have sockets. It was a bug. But once people already got sockets, there was no way to fix it. Ian Hazzikosa said this in an interview actually with Preach, and maybe others at this point, but he did say that they were not supposed to have sockets, and once the first few people started getting sockets, he was like, well, that's it. Like, you can't take those away from the people, you know what I mean? They're best in slot now. It would be ridiculous if you did, so that is it. So those are the kind of mistakes and problems that we had in BFA. I really liked the expansion. It was an excellent expansion, if you ask me. I know a lot of people didn't like it, but the one thing that I think everybody should universally dislike about it was how poorly it was tested and iterated upon. And I hope that that was somehow, like, I don't know what that means, but I just hope that this doesn't happen in Shadowlands, because without question, the start of Shadowlands is going to be a disaster, an absolute disaster. People are going to fucking freak out when they see how little power their character has after coming off an expansion with, I mean, think about this. Eventually, every single slot we have is going to have, it's going to have corruption on it, right? Not today, not tomorrow, but in September, you're going to have so much corruption resistance that you could wear a maximum, like you could wear hundreds and hundreds of corruption, right? So that's going to be like, it's going to be like that, and then all of a sudden it's not going to be like that. And that is what caused a lot of problems coming into BFA. People were constantly complaining about this, and I think it's going to be even worse in Shadowlands. So that is got to go as least poorly as possible, and then everything else has to be good. Like no other bugs, no other nonsense like, oh, this system doesn't even this barely works, so we'll have to wait until 9.1 and then it'll work really well, right? Like these things hopefully do not happen, but thank you for your patience, and we'll see you soon, no TM, in the Shadowlands, meaning this week for sure. So that is good. I'm very excited for this. So what does it mean for me, okay? Now, if we get in this week, we're going to be playing the alpha, okay? And I have to say, like, when I read these words, where are they? Mainly go out to longtime WoW players with active accounts in good standing. The only thing I could think is, say they only want to invite 100 people, but there's 1,000 people with active accounts in good standing. Well, maybe I don't get lucky. That's the only thing I could think of, right? If they only want to invite certain people, but frankly, not to sound like an idiot or anything, but I don't think there's many people who have played and have maintained a subscription longer than me. There's, you know, the number is small. I know this for sure. So maybe I get in first wave. Who knows? I've never gotten in first wave before. The only time I ever did was in the WOD Alpha, and that was because we were technically journalists at the time. So there was very few WoW journalists. It was easy to get on that list. No longer the case. I've been trying to do everything I can as a content creator, but it's obviously, yeah, I'm not getting the views that I should to be able to be qualified for that. But we got some other projects on tap that maybe hook us up here. So we'll see. We'll see. If I get in this week, I'm playing the alpha, okay? Presumably, it comes out Thursday. So that means stream on BFA Tuesday and Wednesday. We already dedicated to doing the no UI thing on Wednesday, and I'm going to stick with that. If we cut out alts, that's that's fine by me. So Friday was going to be alts. Saturday was going to be more Blood DK progression. If we cut out alts, that's fine by me, okay? But if I don't get in, I'm just going to stick to the normal stream schedule. I have no reason to not do that. Like, I don't care if other people get in. I don't really want to watch other people play Shadowlands. Unless it's Cop or one of my friends. I don't really care. You know what I mean? I'm not going to watch Towley play Shadowlands. Fuck that guy. You know what I'm saying? So, anyway, if I get in, we'll be playing. And we'll be talking about that as we go. But there should be another video on this topic this week, one way or the other, even if we don't get in, because they're already talking about class changes. So this is it, okay? We are now covering Shadowlands, and if you did not watch the channel during BFA, expect regular videos on this. It's been a long time since I made a lot of videos on this channel, but at times it might mean we have to cut out a stream or two, okay? So that's the future. As soon as we get into the Shadowlands Alpha, we will be playing all 6 tanks, learning everything we can about those classes, testing what's changed with those classes, doing long streams where we just hang out and test things and get the information we need to make videos. So things are going to be changing a bit, okay? Last time we were in the beta phase and the alpha phase, there's a lot of viewers. Some of them are still around. There's a lot of viewers who did not want to see that, okay? And I regret that. I wish it didn't happen that way, but unfortunately, I'm going to do what I want to do and what I need to do to make videos. So, that's life, all right? I'm not going to continually field comments about why am I not doing Mythic Plus Dungeons on BFA when there's new content to test in the alpha, all right? So I'm just putting these things out here now because we had a lot of this last expansion in the testing phases where people were like, I was streaming like 3 days on the alpha and 1 day on BFA, and people were like, we should be doing it the opposite. Nobody cares about this shit. It's just going to be stuff people do anyway thousands of times, and who wants to watch it now? You're not wrong, but it's a little different. As I am a content creator, I have to be able to make certain things visible, okay? So anyway, that's everything. Look forward to a lot of tank stuff coming in the future. Hopefully alpha this week. Cross our fingers, we'll talk, and otherwise, if not, then we'll just do the normal stream schedule, and we'll talk more when we have some more Shadowlands news. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.